What's going on, people? So real quick, like I was saying in this previous video, when I was making my little recording schedule or whatever, I put these two together because, you know, there's a St. Patrick's Day run coming up this weekend and I bought these basically for that. And then as I was looking at them, I was like, wait, didn't I just buy some green running shoes? Yeah, I did. But I figured I'll just put them together. But it does kind of work out in some ways because even though I didn't intend this to be some sort of comparison review, they both kind of fill the same sort of void, right? Which is like highly cushioned running shoes at the 150 price mark, right? So I will kind of talk a little bit about that, but you know, that wasn't really the intent, just putting it out there anyways. So as you see down there on the side of the box, right, there's some stuff going on down there that some people like to see every once in a while, but we're going to move on past that and we're just going to jump on into this here review now. This right here is the Brooks Ghost Max 2 in the Pine Grove colorway. Now, when I saw these initially, right, I thought to myself, wow, those remind me of those Aniki runners that I bought many years ago. And then some NMDs, because I like the green and the gum bottom. So that was kind of what sold me on these, but we'll come back to that again in a little bit here. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this thing with we'll switch it up. We're going to start with the bottom. Down there, what are you looking at? Gum bottom, just kind of said that a moment ago, right? So you got that whole thing happening. You also have a pretty wide base because these are one of those shoes built for stability and whatnot. So you got that as well. Otherwise, pretty plain, pretty simple, but hey, it works and that's fine enough for me. Let's move on over here, talk about this midsole for just a moment because there's not a whole lot to talk about. As you see, this is just this sort of tan color, a little bit of Ghost Max branding in the very back. Not a whole lot happening. There's some good stuff going on into the midsole though, I will say that. On that note, let's jump onto the inside real quick. See that? Yeah, it's the same on the inside with a little bit of branding, just different branding. This time around, it's talking about the whole DNA loft, nitrogen injected, right? Which does make for some pretty nice feeling things. I'll get into that in a little bit, but whatever. So past all that stuff, right, all the introductory things, let's go ahead and keep that train rolling. Let's give you some more pictures and whatnot so you can kind of see what these things are looking like. It's not a whole lot really going on here, to be completely honest, right? It's a lot of Pine Grove, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. They didn't really do a whole lot of design with the upper, and that's fine. You know, the shoe still functions very well. So let's jump in here, right? I'm not going to go too deep into it because this is a slightly older model. It's just a newer color, right? So anyways, you got a whole lot of mesh making up this upper, right? And you probably saw that earlier. And the only other difference outside of the mesh is that down around the lower regions, right, you do have some of these little plasticky sort of bits or whatever, which I'm guessing might just be there to kind of help the shoe keep some sort of structure and stability to it, right? Keep its form and all that stuff maybe. But either way, so that's kind of what's going on all around here on the bottoms, even drifting into the back and whatnot too. Only difference is it breaks up in the middle, right? Because you have this Brooks thing on some felt here, which I was just talking about on these Vomero 18s, because they have some felt in the back side, which I was thinking like on there, I feel like it's going to get pretty dirty pretty fast and be pretty visible. This being like a darker green probably won't be so bad, you know, but I still feel like it'll be quite nasty. On the back end, you have a little bit more of that as well, right? So there's going to be that for you. Otherwise, not a whole lot happening. So you got some pretty standard laces in here as well, right? I do like these little different colors that they have in here. It's only like the one color, I guess, other than the dark green. It's some sort of lighter green. But yeah, and that goes all the way down through the tips in case you were curious about it. Past that though, standard lacing system, nothing too crazy. Behind there, you know, the tongue, it's going to be the same mesh that you saw at the bottom of the shoe on like the toe box and everywhere else. And that goes all the way up through the tongue with a little bit of that Ghost Max 2 branding at the very top. Though it does kind of read like Ghost 2 Max now that I look at it, but that's not the actual name. Anyway, so let's go ahead onto the inside. Inside of the tongue feels nice and smooth, kind of like that neoprene nylon type of feel like I'm into. And that goes all the way around to the rest of the sock liner as well. Makes for a very nice and cushioned sort of feel, so I'm a fan of that. And then down on the inside, on the insole, it says Brooks because this is a Brooks shoe. So there you go. I think that covers pretty much everything for the visual, if I'm not mistaken. But if I am mistaken, well, that's just unfortunate because I'm moving on past this point of the video anyway. Going to talk about some personal thoughts, let you guys know how I feel about these things. Even though I said that up front, I got to say it again because, you know, it's that part of the video. So, personal thoughts, right? I'm a fan of these. I said that kind of in the earlier stages, right? When I saw this shoe, the Ghost Max 2 that is, I thought, well, that could be something to try out if they make a color that I want. And then this one popped up, and I thought to myself, well, this is going to get my money. There was another blue pair, there's a limited edition color, and that kind of made me kind of want it. But ultimately, I was like, I just like this one more. The other one would just be kind of cool because it's limited. But the heck with that, I'm doing this. And I'm glad I did, because getting these things in hand, I'm not going to sit here and act like this color is going to just amaze people out there or whatever. But it looks really good, right? At least that's my take on it. And I thought that this is going to be worth my $150. So I gave it to Brooks. They gave me these shoes. And I'm not feeling let down. I'm not. And even walking around in them, that's feeling pretty good too. Running around in them, well, the jury's still out on that. But so far, I'm feeling like this was a worthwhile purchase. So, but if this color isn't for you, and I totally get that, they do have I don't know, probably eight or so other colors to choose from. So there's some options out there, right? And a lot of sales are starting to go around, because I saw some on like Dick's Sporting Goods and Fleet Feet maybe? I don't know. I've seen them on sale. So since it is an older model, look for the sales. Don't look for the full price. You know, save yourself some money if you can. Anyways, past that. Sizing, comfort. Let's do that so we can wrap this thing on up here. Actually, there was one thing that I was going to say. Well, now I'll say it in the comfort piece. I bought these true to size, right? True to size for me means size 9.5, because that's like the size of my foot. It's working out very well, I will say that. They do sort of have like a narrow sort of build, right? And I don't think that's going to be a problem, because this material on the upper feels like it's going to be a little more likely to break in over time than, say, something like the Gel Kinetic Fluent or whatever, right? So for that reason, I'm thinking that the true to size thing should be good. The upper also feels pretty nice, right? I did say that the Vomero 18 upper feels just a smidge better overall, but that's just getting very picky. Honestly, like, I could take either one of these, and honestly, yes, while I would lean towards the Vomero 18, I've got no actual complaints about this one. Give me the Vomero 18 upper with this on the lower, and I think we'd be in business. Speaking of, I'll tell you why I say that. Down here, this midsole, right? It feels really good. It does. I'm a big fan of it, because it's not like overly cushiony, right? To where it's like bouncy. It's also only like a 6mm drop. I want to say this is like 39 in the back, something like that, right? So it's a little lower. It's a little more stable feeling when you're walking around in it, right? The DNA loft, the nitrogen thing, I said the same thing about some of the other shoes that I have that are based on that, right? So if you're looking for just something that feels a little more stable, this would be something to choose over the Vomero 18, which feels a little bouncy. And that's just walking around. I haven't run in them yet, but I want to put that out there, right? Also, again, like the lower drop makes it just kind of feel, I don't know, just feels a little more natural to me to walk around in. Everybody has their own feelings about the whole differences in drops, though. But all in all, like this shoe, I put it on and I thought, this is pretty nice. Even if this doesn't become like a favorite running shoe, this is one of those like run/walk type of things. So this one could fit in like a couple ways for my little lineup or whatever. So I've got no complaints so far. I'm curious to see how it works out when I go running in them. And that, I don't know when I'll find that out, but hopefully soon, because why not, right? So I think that's everything I needed to say. So I'm just going to move on. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. What do I have coming up later? I'm honestly not sure what order these videos will be in, because I upload them in the order in which I bought them, because it helps me keep track of the progression of things I bought through the year. And I think I recorded these things in a very much backwards, and I don't even know if these are like the next up things to be recorded. It's probably those Pegasus trails, if I remember correctly. Whatever. There's videos coming. Just walk away with that. Later, people.